Good morning, Pathophys. Saddens me to say that we are in the last leg of the home stretch. I have a lot left for you, things that I would have typically delivered in the classroom, and without me giving an hour and a half lecture every day for the next 2 weeks, it'll be impossible for me to cover everything that I would have liked to have covered. However, I have covered through projects a lot of the topics that I typically have not been able to cover over the last few years, including the last project that was due yesterday, the zoonotic disorders. Those are some things that I threw in just because I thought it would be interesting for you, and I'm hoping that I haven't had a chance to look at any of those yet. I will hopefully at some point later today. I'm hoping that you found that interesting and eye-opening in some regards, depending on what disease that you picked. So what we're going to do for chapters 12, 13, and 14, which I briefly covered last time, and I'm going to briefly cover right now, blood, cardiovascular chapters, is I'm going to design another project, and it's going to be posted hopefully within the next 24 hours. That's the goal, at least. Try to work on that later sometime today and get that up there for you. And I'm going to have you construct a project in similar fashion, what you've been doing the last few, of a cardiovascular blood disorder of your choice. And that will probably be with the addition of maybe one smaller project. One of the last things that we're going to do, I'll have it due at some point, probably next week, early next week. I know that's kind of a stretch, but I'm not going to give you any new lecture material for chapters 12, 13, and 14. I did post that material for you so you can use it as a reference when you're doing your disease, because there's a lot of good information in those chapters. And when I mentioned earlier about not being able to cover things, those are three of my favorite chapters to cover. I cover them together. It usually forms the material for our final exam. I'm not just going to write a bunch of questions for you. That would be silly for you to just go through and digging through the notes. I'm going to ask you to do that on your own as you construct the project. I'm going to add a couple slides probably to this project that are going to necessitate you to do a little bit of work on some basic foundational anatomy, physiology of these three systems. But beyond that, we're going to leave these chapters alone. I'm not going to give you any major material from them. We're just going to focus on this project. So start thinking about, and I'll provide a list for you. You can go outside the list if you want, just to email me if you have any specific requests. But I'll provide a nice list for you to choose diseases from. They'll range from leukemia to coronary artery disease, from cerebrovascular accidents to mono. So there's a number of different things that we can cover, another number of different diseases that you can use as you deal with this chapter, or deal with this project rather. So I'm going to keep it short today. That's all I have for you. Office hours this week. I didn't have anybody show up last week, and I'm not asking that you do, but if you have questions, or if you just want to say hi and say, hey, when's the school year going to be over? I don't know if I have the answer to that question yet. I know it's going to be within the next few weeks. Just stop by and we can chat for a little bit. If not, just send me an email. Guys, have a great day. Bye.